said about you?
No.
He said working with Denzel was a sort of a lifetime dream, and he said you're just about the best actor going. And the problem that brought for him working with you was that sometimes when he was in a scene, he would forget to act and he would sit there and be watching you acting.
Oh, is that what it was?
He would.
I just thought he was terrible.
No, I'm kidding. I think that he wants to win no matter what. He was willing to do whatever it takes to win. He didn't care who he stepped on, who he killed, who he would act like a little girl if he needed to. He'd turn around and chop your, snap your neck off, your everyday guy.
Denzel Washington didn't just throw shade, he straight up acted like Ryan Reynolds doesn't exist. No fanfare, no subtlety, just pure indifference. And Ryan? He's not handling it well. The man's unraveling, drowning in embarrassment, because Denzel didn't just snub him.
Have you read the things he said about you?
No.
He said working with Denzel was a sort of a lifetime dream, and he said you're just about the best actor going. And the problem that brought for him working with you was that sometimes when he was in a scene, he would forget to act and he would sit there and be watching you acting.
Oh, is that what it was?
He would.
I just thought he was terrible. No, I'm kidding.
Look, I don't know how Denzel manages to drop lines that savage with a completely straight face, but somehow he does. And judging by the stunned looks on Tom Hardy and Keira Knightley's faces during that Jonathan Ross show moment, no one was ready. It hit like a MIC drop wrapped in silk. Now, if this were a one-off, maybe you could chalk it up to Denzel's famously dry sense of humor. But it's not. Not even close. Once you start connecting the dots, every side eye, every shade-laced quote, it stops reading as playful and starts feeling very personal. In another interview, a host casually brought up Ryan's name, probably expecting the usual Hollywood lip service. Something safe like he's a great guy, super talented. Instead, silence. Denzel didn't flinch, didn't fake smile, just stared, stone-faced, as the silence stretched into full-on awkward territory. The poor interviewer scrambled to change the subject. It would have been hilarious if it weren't so deeply uncomfortable. Here's the thing. In Hollywood, fake compliments are survival tactic. Don't like your co-star? No problem. Just toss out a vague great energy on set and move on. It's a game everyone plays. Everyone except Denzel. If he doesn't like you, he won't fake it. Not for PR, not for ratings, not even for a polished press junket. And if he does like you,
would I work with him again? No.
No.
I would not work with him
that
again.
much vitriol.
But I've said that about Michael Bay, and now we're friends, and I would work with him again. But I think Michael Bay is different. And Michael Bay worked on a movie with Ryan Reynolds also. And so he has a very specific opinion.
That may mirror
of
your
Ryan
own.
Reynolds. And that was a good part of our last conversation with me and Bay. But I sort of wish him well because he's so good at Deadpool. And I think it's weird that he hates me.
The first Deadpool was lightning in a bottle. Critics raved, fans went feral, and the box office numbers didn't just break records, they demolished them. Naturally, the hype for Deadpool 2 was off the charts. Bigger budget. Bigger stunts. Bigger expectations, but then, out of nowhere, director Tim Miller walked away. Mid-franchise. Mid-momentum. Just walked. And all signs point to one reason. Ryan Reynolds. Now sure, it's not unusual for a star to want creative input, especially when they are the character. Ryan is Deadpool. And Fox gave him a seat at the table, which made sense, at first. But Ryan didn't want a seat, he wanted the whole damn table. Insiders say things went south fast. What began as collaboration turned into domination. Ryan allegedly started steamrolling decisions, sidelining Tim, and taking control of everything from scripts to set design to final cuts. Tim Miller later addressed it with a quote that said everything without saying too much. You can work that way as a director quite successfully, but I can't. I don't mind having a debate, but if I can't win, I don't want to play. And I don't think you can negotiate every creative decision. There are too many to make. Translation. Ryan wanted total control. And Tim. He wasn't signing up to be a glorified assistant. The tension got so thick, so relentless, Tim finally said, "This isn't worth it," and walked. From a multi-million-dollar franchise. A director doesn't walk from that kind of goldmine unless something behind the scenes is seriously broken. And here's where it gets even messier. The same script seems to be playing out again, this time with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni on It Ends With Us. From day one, Blake made it clear she wasn't just starring, she was steering. And if you've seen the leaked messages tied to that ongoing...
In fact, in the movie, he has a really fight, an amazing fight. He gave me a black eye as well.
As like a leaving gift.
Honestly, what did Ryan think was going to happen? That Denzel would just let it slide. The tension, the cold shoulders, the black eye incident, it wasn't just water under the bridge. It was a dam ready to burst, and for years, Denzel kept it classy. Silent. Unbothered, at least on the surface. But silence doesn't always mean forgiveness. Sometimes, it's just a countdown. Then came the Jonathan Ross show. That's where it all unraveled. That's where Denzel finally dropped the mask and dropped the hammer. When Ryan's name came up, there was no diplomacy. No
a celebrity in public. We only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys, but for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could...
Brandon Slenner's frustration was practically tattooed on his face. As if the whole situation wasn't already uncomfortable enough, when asked about working with Blake, he couldn't even be bothered to muster up the energy for a fake compliment. It was like he'd been asked to comment on a meal he'd just been forced to choke down. Nobody was buying his professionalism.
You know, just anything I could do to manipulate him, to intimidate him.
Keep him off balance.
Keep him off balance. I wasn't there to teach him, I was there to...
Denzel Washington didn't just throw shade, he launched a full-blown strike. In a move that sent shockwaves through Hollywood, Denzel publicly declared he'd never work with Ryan Reynolds again. Not out of scheduling conflicts or creative differences, but because he thinks Ryan is a terrible actor. Let that sink in. Imagine hearing that from someone you've idolized your whole career. Someone whose validation defines your place in the industry. And now, he'd rather hang up his career than share a soundstage with you. That's not just a diss, it's character assassination for Ryan, already under fire from the It Ends With Us chaos. This couldn't come at a worse time. Denzel isn't just respected, he's revered. When he speaks, Hollywood listens. And what he just said, it's not just personal, it's damaging. But here's the twist. Denzel might be the first to say it out loud, but he's definitely not the only one who feels that way. Rumors have swirled for years about Ryan's off-camera ego, his on-set arrogance, and the growing list of colleagues who vowed never to work with him again. So, is Ryan Reynolds finally losing his grip on the industry? Are we witnessing the golden boys fall from grace? Let's rewind. Ryan built his brand on charm, the quick wit, the smirking hero, the lovable rogue who could do no wrong. Deadpool made him a household name, and his nice guy image became his calling card. But that facade, cracking, insiders paint a different picture, one of a man who's difficult, dismissive, and exhausting to work with. And while some in the industry have quietly tolerated him for the sake of box office success, others are done biting their tongues. Denzel, for one, never played pretend. Their beef goes back to
I just want people to remember why we made the movie in the first place and what it stands for, and just keeping the focus on that. Like that movie meant so much.
The tension in the room. Unbearable. You could practically cut it with a knife. But here's the real kicker. When the premiere rolled around, Blake didn't just steal the spotlight, she obliterated it. Justin was left to watch from the sidelines like a background extra, while Blake casually dropped the line, "Grab your friends and wear your florals," like she was promoting some frothy rom-com, not a film about domestic violence. Classy. Real class.
Up in a movie like that, when you find out that you're working with Ben Kingsley or you're working with Denzel, like, does that change your perspective going into something? Because obviously you did Safe House with Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel is like is slightly different because he's just, I've never seen an energy like that before. I mean, he's a guy that, like, he can with a blink he can occupy every square inch of a room if he wants, and then just like that he could vanish.
Here's the real tea. Denzel just wasn't feeling it. From day one, the vibe between him and Ryan was off. And if there's one thing you should know about Denzel Washington, it's that he doesn't play the Hollywood game. No sugarcoating, no fake smiles. When he's done with you, he's done, and he'll make sure you know it. Case in point, during the filming of Safe House, Ryan accidentally clocked Denzel in the face during a fight scene. Gave him a full-blown black eye. Sounds like a standard on-set accident, right? Wrong. Because Denzel didn't treat it like just another stunt mishap. He never let it go. In interview,
L. Jackson, where are you? Oh! Samuel L. Jackson. Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Even when Denzel's not a fan of someone, he usually grants them a baseline of professional respect. You can sense it, grudging admiration, acknowledgement of talent, even if the vibes are off. But with Ryan, nothing. No warmth. No courtesy. Not a flicker of recognition. It's like the man doesn't even exist in Denzel's universe. First glance, you might chalk it up to a simple personality clash. Ryan with his goofy, freewheeling energy versus Denzel's laser-focused, no-nonsense intensity. But nah, it runs deeper than that. Because Denzel isn't the only heavyweight throwing shade. Turns out, Ryan's not exactly the industry darling he's made out to be. Yes, he's bankable. Deadpool turned him into a global brand. He's got sarcasm, sex appeal, and the kind of pop culture clout that sells out theaters. Throw in Mint Mobile, aviation gin, and a Premier League soccer team? His empire screams success, but behind the curtain, a different question hangs in the air. Does Hollywood actually respect Ryan Reynolds? And if you listen closely, the answer isn't flattering. Many insiders don't see him as a beloved peer, they see him as a necessary evil. A guy you cast when you want ticket sales, not artistic depth. Point one of the most scathing takes. Straight from Quentin Tarantino. A man whose opinions carry more weight than most studio execs combined. When asked about Ryan's body of work, Tarantino didn't even blink. I don't know what any of those movies are. I've never seen them. Have you? I haven't ever talked to Ryan Reynolds' agents, but his agent is like, well, it costs $50 million. Well, good for him that he's making that much money. But those movies don't exist in the zeitgeist. It's almost like they don't even exist. Brutal. And absolutely intentional. And he's not the only one. Let's rewind to Gerard Butler, mid-interview, when a reporter casually compared his film gamer to Ryan's Free Guy. Gerard's reaction. Pure disgust. Like the comparison was an insult. He straight up admitted he doesn't watch Ryan's movies, and has zero plans to start. No diplomacy. Just raw, unfiltered dismissal. And that's just the public shade behind the scenes? Things don't look much better. Take Deadpool 2. Sure, it crushed the box office. But what most fans missed was the quiet storm brewing off camera. Director Tim Miller, the guy who helped birth Deadpool into franchise glory, walked away from the sequel. Creative differences, they said. But insiders whisper that the real issue was Ryan's iron grip on the production. His need for control. His inability to share creative space, and when a director bails on a guaranteed blockbuster right as it's blowing up.
Theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to...
And for those of you thinking Ryan's the only one catching heat, think again. The industry. They're starting to sour on Blake too. She used to strut around like she was the fashion world's queen, with every tabloid hanging on her every move. But now, it's like the media's moved on, and no one's even batting an eye when she walks into a room.